We've been listening to Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman announce charges against Nick Reiner, the son of celebrity director and actor Rob Reiner, in the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. First-degree murder with special circumstances. Let's bring back in our criminal defense attorney, Fox News contributor Josh Ritter, entertainment and trial attorney Trey Lavelle, and criminal defense attorney Mercedes Colwin. Josh, this is what we were talking about prior to this press conference. You now hear it's first-degree murder with special circumstances. I would love to hear your reaction and the significance of those charges.
My reaction is it's expected. A crime like this, double homicide, you're likely going to see first-degree murder with special circumstances. To the question that was being asked during that press conference about how long will this take, it's going to take significantly longer, given that it is a special circumstance case. It just complicates things further. But the other thing it does, though they don't have to indicate at this point whether or not they're going to pursue the death penalty, but the default is going to be life without parole on a special circumstance murder case, which means to me, if I can further kind of read the tea leaves here, is that given that he's only looking at, and the only thing that the people are at this point going to be willing to offer is life without parole, we're likely looking at a case that's going to head to trial. So this idea that maybe a plea deal might be worked out, I think the chances of that have become very slim.
And that takes us to, Trey, a conversation we as well had before we went into that press conference. You heard the questions asked by reporters. They were not answered by either the authorities, the police, or the district attorney. Those questions were about whether or not there was substance abuse involved, whether or not Nick Reiner was on any form of substance. There was also a question about mental illness. Now, I think you had guessed before we went to that press conference, you would anticipate some type of defense revolving around the mental state of Nick Reiner. What do you think about what they said there regarding substance abuse and mental illness?
Those are going to be big factors in this. The DA is not going to comment on the specific evidence. They're not supposed to do that. They're going to keep that out of the press. It's going to trickle out. But the mental status, the mental state of Nick is going to be extremely important. It's going to go to the premeditated, planning, which is required on a first-degree murder charge. And whether or not he had drugs, he was using drugs at the time, his drug history, whether he was intoxicated, whether or not there was a heat of passion that the defense can argue, hey, it's not first degree, it's not premeditated, this is part of a heat of passion, manslaughter type charge. All that's going to be significantly considered.
As a matter of curiosity, Mercedes, there was the declined invitation to answer a lot of specifics as to the investigation, both from the police and the district attorney. Specifically when it came to, for example, where was the murder weapon located? Has it been located? As to the timing, which they are still waiting on the coroner to hear the time of death or time of incident here. As was pointed out by Trey, that information will come out. It will trickle out. It can't be an attempt to keep that information from the defense. The defense will discover all of that information in preparation for trial. So how and when do you begin to learn, we the public, more of the specifics? In what condition was Nick found in his hotel? What about the murder weapon?
Well, I mean, those are great questions because honestly, with these high-profile cases, and we know how high-profile this is, there has to be very careful consideration of what is actually expressed in the public. These are your prospective jurors. You don't want jurors that are going to know every single detail as a prosecutor of what you may actually go forward at trial. And a lot of what we're going to hear and a lot of what we're going to know is going to be really through the formal process. There are going to be many hearings. There are going to be suppression hearings where the defense is going to come forward and try to suppress some of the evidence. They're going to question how the evidence was collected. They're going to question the biggest issue of all is whether Nick had the mental faculties to understand that he actually murdered his parents. And that is going to be the key to all of this, because if they can show that maybe it was a crime of passion, maybe that he was obviously not in the right frame of mind, then that would absolve him of the criminality needed in order to establish first-degree murder.
All right, Mercedes Colwin, Trey Lavelle, Joshua Ritter, thank you guys so much for being with us before and after that press conference to make sense of the charges against Nick Reiner. Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.